For centuries, the story of Lot's wife, the one she turns into a pillar of salt, well, it's always been just that, a story, a cautionary tale from ancient scripture. But what if the line between legend and reality isn't a line at all? What if it's a landmark you can actually go and see?
So, deep in these salt-crusted cliffs near the Dead Sea, there's this solitary formation that just stands out against the horizon. And for generations, people have looked at it and asked themselves the same question. Could this actually be the physical remnant of one of history's most haunting tales?
And this isn't some new discovery. For generations, the locals have called this specific pillar Lot's wife. They recognized how it stands all alone, shaped, well, eerily like a human figure. And it's in the exact location the Bible places this whole dramatic event.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this pillar, we've got to understand the place it comes from. And believe me, this is where the geology of the story gets absolutely wild.
Yeah, you heard that right. A mountain made of actual salt. It's this cracked, dry, mineral-heavy wasteland where salt literally just seeps out of the ground. Honestly, it's the kind of place that already feels like a set from some apocalyptic movie. So the idea of someone turning into a salt statue right here, it suddenly doesn't seem quite so out there.
So, to really understand the pillar, we have to rewind and go back to the original source material. We're talking Genesis 19. Which tells this incredible story of a family fleeing a city that's on the very brink of total annihilation.
And man, these events unfold with terrifying speed. First, there's the warning from God. Then, two angels show up in Sodom. The city's corruption, it's confirmed in the worst way when this violent mob surrounds Lot's house, making it crystal clear that the place is just beyond saving. It gets so bad the angels have to physically grab Lot and his family by the hand and drag them out as the destruction begins.
And the angels gave them this one simple, urgent command. It was absolutely crucial. And you have to understand, this wasn't just a warning about, physical danger. It was a command that demanded absolute trust and a complete turning away from their past.
So picture this. Fire and burning sulfur are raining down from the sky. The entire world they knew is literally being wiped from existence. And in that moment, Lot's wife makes a choice. A single choice that sealed her fate. She looked back.
So, the big question is why? Why did she do it? The Bible is famously concise on this. It doesn't even tell us her name, let alone her thoughts or her exact motives. But that one single action, it's been interpreted in some really powerful ways over the centuries.
So was it just fear? I mean, that would be a perfectly human reaction to the sound of your city being obliterated, right? Or maybe it was longing. For her home, her friends, the entire life she was being forced to just abandon. A lot of people believe her glance was really a sign of a divided heart. She was on the path to safety, sure, but she couldn't fully let go. Her body was moving forward, but her soul was still tied to Sodom.
Now, what's really interesting is that her transformation into salt, it wasn't random, no, it was deeply symbolic. See, in the ancient world, salt was a super powerful substance. It was used to seal promises, to preserve food. It represented permanence. So for her to become a pillar of salt meant she became a preserved warning, an enduring monument to the consequences of looking back, a story that wouldn't just decay with time.
And this brings us right to the heart of the conflict surrounding that pillar still standing today. Is it just a geological coincidence, a trick of the light and erosion, or could it actually be a preserved artifact from a real historical event?
So you've got these two competing views. On one side, you have the geologists, and they explain that Mount Sodom is this huge salt dome, where wind and rain naturally carve out these formations called hoodoos. From their perspective, the pillar is remarkable for sure, but totally natural. But then, on the other side, you have historians pointing out that this specific pillar has been identified for millennia. Its unique, isolated shape and a location that just so happens to match the biblical accounts, well, that's a convergence of details that's really hard to just dismiss as pure coincidence.
And this is the crucial part. People are pointing to this pillar long before modern tourism or anything like that. We're talking about an era without satellite images, without formal archaeology. Back then, first-hand testimony was everything. The first-century historian Flavius Josephus, he wasn't just writing down folklore. He was documenting what he considered to be facts. And he wrote, flat out, that he had personally seen the pillar of salt still standing in his day.
So, okay, Regardless of how it got there, the story itself has become this enduring lesson that goes way beyond any single religion or time period. It's not just about what might have happened, but what it means for all of us, even today.
You know, the real moral weight of the story has echoed through time not because she was some great villain, but because her hesitation is so relatable. It's this powerful metaphor for that human struggle we all face, right? The choice between moving forward into an uncertain future or looking back at a familiar, comfortable past, even when that past is actually destroying you.
Her story became such a potent symbol that centuries later, in the Gospel of Luke, Jesus himself used it as the ultimate shorthand. When he was warning his followers about the urgency of leaving everything behind when you're called to a new path, he just said, "Remember Lot's wife." That's it. He didn't need to explain. The image was powerful enough.
So in the end, whether that pillar is a product of natural erosion or a divinely placed monument, it remains a chillingly powerful landmark. It forces us to question that thin line between geology and theology, between a story we tell and a physical truth we can see. And it just stands there, a silent, salty reminder of the ultimate cost of one last look back.